The movie opens with Pierce, a husband. Izzy and his wife are allegedly cutting off writing in a pickup. Pierre urges the truck driver to halt as he quickly starts arguing with his wife. He sprays significant other out when the truck stops, but she won't get off. Then he sent for his guys who were holding the truck's contents. "Hey guys, welcome to our channel, Mystery Recaps. Today we will recap a 1967 romance drama movie named Beauty of the Day. To know what happens later, keep on watching the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel." Moreover, Gear teaches his watchmen to slash her with a blade after having stripped every woman of her bear, and applauded her lips. Everything Pierre taught was put into action by the watchmen. Séverine wasn't uncomfortable, but, in any case, she was enjoying what was going on around her. Another gatekeeper appeared and began seducing Séverine, which made her happy. It was at this moment that we realized Séverine was dreaming when we saw her and her significant other Pierre in their chamber in another scenario. Furthermore, everything that happened was a daydream. Séverine unexpectedly instructs her partner how to kiss her. Despite the fact that they are married, their beds are separate, so they kiss and eventually drive her better half away from her before returning to sleep. The next morning, Séverine and her significant other are seen having breakfast with their friends in a restaurant. Cutting off is unnecessary. Beer's friend Henry was chosen because over time he developed a bad crush on her. Séverine was observed driving back in a car with her friend, who was also Henry's wife. She informed Séverine that several wealthy women in our society lie down with various guys, not just for financial gain, but also because it makes them feel better. Séverine shows curiosity and wonders if this is indeed evident. "Not just some," replies her buddy. Séverine visits her house and inquires of her better of whether he has physical relationships with wealthy women. Yet, there are several wealthy young girls who feel better by doing this demonstration. Prior to being married, Pierre claimed to have engaged in similar behavior. After learning this, Séverine became enraged and left the room quickly. The following morning, Séverine went to a tennis clinic where she encountered Henry. When they were chatting about wealthy women and lying down with other guys, Henry began to irritate Séverine since his better half is educated and discussing submarines' advantages. Henry learns that there is a site in our city where cool girls congregate, and he provides her the address. Everyone decided to travel to the spot Henry had given him the following day. Eventually, I overthought it. A woman named Madame Anais, who was in charge of that region, had invited her when she arrived. Anais illustrates the norms and surroundings of this place. There are many different people that come here, and you must control them all. Anais is informed by the cutoff that she cannot arrive in the evening, but just in the early afternoon. Also, she was told to leave by 5 p.m. once the Séverine returned. Upon returning, Séverine visits the urgent care center to see her better half. Pierre claims to be an expert. She requested that her significant other go somewhere with her today. Pierre, however, rebuffed him by asserting that he was quite persistent today. Séverine returns to bed after hearing this harmonize. She responds, "I can't let you know my name," when Anais asks her for her name. Madame Anais responds by giving her a false name. Was there any specific reason for why Anais didn't tell her real name? Let us know in the comment section. She then introduces her to a variety of clients. Everyone was in a room with a chubby man and a few young women who had once worked for him. But when he spotted Séverine, he asked the vast array of different young women to leave and began adoring Séverine. Given that it was her first day here, Séverine felt worried. She had to get out. Despite Anais's efforts to help her, she was unable to do so, and the customer began to torment her with Belle de Jour, which she also finds amusing. Prior to cleaning up, Séverine swallows her garments when she returns before Pierre. Well, we've improved. When Pierre gets home, half is unaware. He is happy to leave early for supper. She declines though, stating that she isn't feeling well today. Cutting off took some much-needed time off, and he hasn't seen Madame Anais in a few days. "What is the purpose of your later appearance?" she inquired when she returned to Emma's home. "Such an impressive stretch. Several customers were waiting patiently for you." Then Anais gives a strange customer the day's bill. The customer desired intimacy through creating bondage for his unique woman and desired employment. Being new, Severin was absent for a long period of time. She is therefore ignorant of the client's wants. Another young woman is sent with that man by Madame Knight, who also instructs the beauty designer to keep an eye on things so she may better serve her clientele. Later, the bill of the day felt strange as he watched the young woman slash the man with a blade and assumed that everyone in the area was going crazy. Madame Anais introduces the daily bill to a Chinese customer. After entering the room, he presents Bill with a vibrator, which pleases her, and the two of them have a wonderful time. The next day, Anais gives bill of the day to a senior citizen who has to transport Belle of the day to his house. He takes the beauty to his vast mansion in the style of a royal estate, where he advises her to wear a simple clothing. Then, after placing her in her final resting place, he begins to weep until he is on his knees. Afterwards, he asked his watchman to eject Chiny du Jour from his house. Belle du Jour requested the gatekeeper to allow her enter the home while it was heavily raining outside. Nevertheless, he threw her away. By dusk, Séverine was cuddling up in bed with her partner. She expressed to Pierre her happiness at being with him today and her growing love for him. Two men fight in a scenario from the home of Madame Nice on the grounds that they must spend their night together. Marseille, a beauty designer, was one of the guys, and his madame's friend was the other. Marcel learns from Anais to carry the beauty of the day with him. Yet, his buddy argues that he was the first to see the day's beauty, and that he still has the choice to take her. Anais responds when Marcel and Beauty of the Day spend the evening together. Let Marcel take Belle of the Day. Bill expresses his admiration for her in the same way Marcel does. The day after that, Pierre also takes Séverine on an outing. Séverine, on the other hand, is anxious about Belle de George's absence, since he can no longer halt to spend time with Belle de Jour. Séverine misses her niece's house in Marseille and isn't genuinely participating in the trip with Pierre. Marseille phones Madame Anais to find out if the day's Belle came back. Anais notifies Marseille that she has returned. Currently, Marcel hastened to alert the mistress of his home and garden of her absence after learning this. She fills him in on all the details of her spells. Yet Marcel insists that she is his and that he cannot bear to see her with another guy. In the rare possibility that I wasn't there, Beauty of the Day informs him. You may enjoy it here with various young females. While Marcel said that he couldn't spend time with other girls since he loves Beauty, the two of them soon start flirting, and Marcel eventually asks Beauty to spend the evening with him. But Belle of the Day disputes this, claiming she can't abandon her better half since she loves him. Henry visited Madame Anita's home one day when cutting off was taking place there, and he brought Séverine with him into a room. Henry's presence astounded Séverine, who begged him not to tell Pierre anything. Also, she told him to do whatever with her. She is organized. However, Henry denied it and said he had always loved chopping off. He could no longer live without her, though, after. Witnessing her commit this horrible act, he also promises Séverine that he won't reveal anything to her partner. Then Henry left, making Séverine feel ashamed. Séverine informs Madame Anais that she won't be able to continue working here. Madame Anais asks if she has any problems she may tell her about and demands her phone number in an effort to exert control over her. She knows that if she informs Madame Anais where she is, she won't ever be allowed to go, so she addresses the situation with harshness and refuse. Séverine went back to her residence. In contrast, Marcel dispatches one of his associates to pursue Séverine, who encounters the companion, follows her home, and makes a note of her whereabouts. After a few days, Marcel comes to see Severin. After seeing her photos with her husband Pierre, he becomes agitated and starts coercing Severin. He threatens that if she doesn't meet him frequently, he will tell her better half everything about her. Severin clarifies that she will tell her better half everything because she wants to make amends for her wrongdoings. When Marcel learns of this, he leaves the house and waits in his car beside his partner till Pierre arrives. He fires Pierre with a weapon when he sees Pierre. She quickly runs to her partner and drives Pierre to the hospital when she hears the sound of gunfire. Nevertheless, the cops are shooting at Marcel. Because they witnessed him shooting Pierre, Marcel died instantly after being shot by the cops. Severin and Henry's spouse were waiting for the news in the emergency room when doctors arrived and informed her that Pierre was still alive, but he had lost his ability to see and his body was no longer functional. When Henry unexpectedly arrives to see Severin and Pierre, Pierre will regret it immediately, since he is in poor health and is unable to handle his better half. Henry commanded him to tell her everything he knows about Severin. Better half now that he has a responsible perspective on things. Henry visits Pierre and informs him of all that has occurred to Severin during the past few months. He came back after telling him everything. Severin walked up to Pierre. Although he was sobbing, Severin stated while holding a drink and once more began to think creatively. This time, Pierre was entirely at ease and told Severin how much he loved her. So guys, that's it for today. Check out this video on the screen to watch this amazing movie recap. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button and bell icon to never miss any exciting movie recaps.